Today we are going to discuss parathyroid gland disorders and calcium metabolism, because calcium metabolism is very much closely related with the parathyroid gland disorders. Let's try to understand what is calcium metabolism, what is hypocalcemia, hypercalcemia, their clinical features and the management. Then latter part about parathyroid gland disorders. Here, but calcium metabolism, more than 90% of body calcium is in the bones. Normal serum calcium levels are very much maintained in between 9 to 10.5 milligram per deciliter. Half of this is present in free form called ionized calcium, and remaining half is bound with protein, with albumin. This ionized calcium is responsible for physiological function of the calcium, such as nerve functions, muscle contractions. Calcium is essential for bone formation and also teeth formation. In the teeth, its deficiency leads to defective and delayed dentition and also poor bone formation. Calcium levels, how much they are regulated. Regulation of calcium metabolism. It is chiefly done by the parathyroid hormone PTH and vitamin D. Vitamin D. Now, adult requires calcium per day 500 to 600 milligram, 500 to 600 milligram per day of calcium. And source of calcium, they come from the diet, milk and its products like cheese and etc., eggs, fish, cereals, green vegetables, etc. Vitamin D and parathyroid hormone, how they regulate. Vitamin D enhances the absorption of calcium and phosphate from the gut, GI system, what we eat. Vitamin D enhances the absorption of calcium and phosphate from GIT system. Now, this parathyroid hormone PTH, which is released from parathyroid gland in response to low calcium, this parathyroid hormone, what does it do? It maintains serum calcium level by promoting resorption of calcium from the bones. It promotes resorption of calcium from the renal tubules. And very important, it stimulates synthesis of active form of vitamin D, that is calcitriol, by the kidney. The active form is otherwise called as 1,25 dihydroxycholecalciferol. That's how the serum calcium levels are regulated. Now we'll go for the hypocalcemia topic as such. When do we say patient has got hypocalcemia? Where serum calcium level falls below 9 milligram per deciliter, or ionized calcium is less than 4.2 milligram per deciliter. That is there, we call it as a hypocalcemia. Causes of hypocalcemia. Very three important causes are chronic renal failure, vitamin D deficiency, and hypoparathyroidism. So, this hypoparathyroidism we'll discuss little later, but they are very close to related to hypocalcemia. So all the features of clinical feature of hypoparathyroidism is hypocalcemia. Other causes are hypocalcemia are now vitamin D deficiency. This may be because of decreased intake of vitamin D or decreased exposure to sunlight, or maybe because of malabsorption in the GI system or decreased production of active form. Now, other causes like hyperphosphatemia, hypomagnesemia, acute pancreatitis, low serum albumin. So all these condition can cause hypocalcemia. There is condition called pseudohypothyroidism, where patient has got parathyroid levels are normal, but it is characterized by tissue resistance to the effect of parathormone. If the tissue is do not act is affected by parathyroid, so it is called pseudohypothyroidism. No clinical feature. Because of low level of ionized calcium, there is an increased amount of neuromuscular excitability. This happens in the body, resulting in clinical features called tetany. So here, in children more so, triad of symptoms are very interesting. The symptoms are carpopedal spasm. That means carpal means hands, fingers, pedal means foot and their toes. Carpopedal spasm, convulsions, and laryngeal spasm, commonly seen in infants and children. In adults, more features will be perioral and limb hyperparesthesia. So numbness and paresthesia of the perioral area and limb. They are very common symptoms. Many times the symptom may not be seen as the early hypocalcemia can demonstrate latent tetany by two signs called Chvostek sign and Trousers sign. What is Chvostek sign? So there is a contraction of facial muscles when tapping over branches of facial nerves near pituitary gland. So in near pituitary gland, you tap it, facial muscle spasms takes place in early tetany or latent tetany. The Chvostek sign this is called. Now Trousers sign, where appearance of carpal spasm or otherwise called that hand took the shape of there is a wrist and thumb is flexion is there, other fingers hyperextension. So obstetric hand we call it. It occurs within 3 minutes of after inflation of BP apparatus cuff beyond systolic pressure. If you do it, so the Trousers sign appears in the form of development of obstetric hands or carpal spasm. So these are two latent tetany signs which can make a patient, you can recognize the patient early. ECG will show prolonged Q2 intervals. Many times there will be a lot of arrhythmias. Prolonged hypocalcemia is seen in hypoparathyroidism may cause, apart from this, basal ganglia calcification, sometimes cataract, increase in intracranial tension, which can be seen by fundoscopic examination in the form of papilloedema, many times psychosis. Now, investigations. Your investigations thing is you see hypocalcemia, so serum calcium which is very low, parathyroid hormone, we check it. Here, parathyroid hormone will be low in hypoparathyroidism. In case of chronic renal failure and hypoparathyroidism, serum phosphorus level is increased, whereas serum phosphorus level is low in vitamin D deficiency. Management. How to manage hypocalcemia? The patient develops tetany or very much oral, perioral numbness, the tingling sensation, all that. Two things we do it: treat the cause and also correct the hypocalcemia which is causing a lot of symptoms. In case of acute symptomatic severe hypocalcemia, we give IV calcium gluconate, 20 ml of this, 10% calcium gluconate slowly. This can be repeated after few minutes, or can be given IV infusion with 5% dextrose. Sometimes because of hypomagnesemia, we require IV magnesium also. This will clear the tetany features. For chronic hypocalcemia, can give oral calcium gluconate tablet, oral calcium, 1 to 2 gram in divide dose per day, and regular vitamin D3 supplementation, 400 200 2000 units, 400 to 1000 units per day for a long period. All the time we were talking about tetany, where there is increased neuromuscular excitability. For differential diagnosis of tetany, this tetany can be seen in case of condition of hypomagnesemia. Also in alkalosis. Alkalosis occurs when there is a repeated vomitings for any reasons, or excessive intake of alkali, or hysterical hyperventilation, patient crying, breathing fast, and hyperventilation, hysterical, some functional cause. So patient develops all these tetany features. So there the treatment is in hypomagnesia, you give IV magnesium. In alkalosis, you can give IV saline plus calcium gluconate injection. For hysterical hyperventilation, we require anxiety control measure by giving some anti-anxiety drugs. Plus, for acute treatment, we require in hysteric hyperventilation rebreathe treatment, or can be given carbon dioxide 5%. This is the way we manage tetany. So tetany, apart from the hypocalcemia, other causes hypomagnesemia, severe alkalosis, where I mentioned tetany as a topic, you can discuss. You can understand that. Now next topic in this connection is hypercalcemia. Hypercalcemia is defined as serum calcium level more than 10.5 milligram per deciliter, or ionized calcium is more than 5.2 milligram deciliter. Now, important of causes of hypercalcemia is primary hyperparathyroidism and malignancy, 90% of cases. So, causes of hypercalcemia, we'll discuss few points. Primary hyperthyroidism, very important cause, where it can be adenoma, hyperplasia, or parathyroid gland cancer, where there is more secretion of parathyroid hormones. In malignancy, some malignancy tumors, interestingly, some tumors, the body, somewhere malignancy is there, they secrete parathyroid hormone related protein. This occurs in malignancy of lungs, ovary, kidney. In some hematological malignancies, also this can happen, like myeloma, lymphoma, leukemia. Other causes of hypercalcemia are sarcoidosis, vitamin D excess congestion, hyperthyroidism, Miller-Killick syndrome, lithium and thiazide uses, and prolonged immobilization. So these are the various causes of hypercalcemia. Now, clinical features of hypercalcemia. Symptom develops when serum calcium level rises about 12 milligram per deciliter usually. All body systems are affected, Patient have a GI system symptoms, renal symptoms, neurological symptoms, cardiovascular symptoms. GI symptoms are anorexia, there is a loss of appetite, nausea, vomiting, constipation, many times peptic ulcer formation. Renal symptoms are polyuria, polydipsia, it is increased thirst, renal colic, and nephrolithiasis, renal calculus disease. Neurological features are confusion, drowsiness, depression. As the serum calcium levels increases 13-14 milligram per deciliter, there will be stupor and coma if there is calcium level more than 15. Cardiovascular system, lot of arrhythmias. ECG you take short QT interval. For prolonged hypercalcemia, you find ectopic calcification occurring in tissues of hands, feet, etc. Investigations. Serum calcium and serum parathyroid hormones are measured. Serum calcium level will be definitely high. Parathyroid hormone. High parathyroid hormone indicates primary hyperparathyroidism. When parathyroid hormones are low, it may indicate there is a malignancy somewhere in the body, which are secreting parathyroid hormone like protein, causing hypercalcemia. Also, you can assess thyroid hormones for hyperthyroidism, or vitamin D levels, so that you can rule out vitamin D level excess. Now, investigations were done. Now, treatment. Important thing is treat the underlying cause. For hyperparathyroidism, primary hyperplasia is there, tumor is there. Best thing is to do parathyroidectomy. Now, for severe hypercalcemia, IV saline is given 2 to 4 liters in 24 hours. This saline promotes excretion of calcium in the urine, thereby decreasing the calcium level in the blood. Other drug we can try is furosemide. This is loop diuretic given a high dose. It causes forced diuresis, thereby calcium is excreted in the urine. Other drugs are biphosphonate. Its mechanism of action is it inhibits bone resorption. It's a drug of choice in malignancy associated with hypercalcemia. Here 60 to 19 mg pipidronate given IV or zoledronate 4 mg. Calcitonin is given in renal failure. Subcutaneous injections. Mechanism of action is it inhibits bone resorption and causes excretion of calcium. Oral steroids. These are used. Prednisolone is used 20 mg 6th in conditions like hematological malignancies, sarcoidosis, vitamin D excess. Some cases require hemodialysis when there is renal failure and all advanced state. To correction of hypercalcemia, you can go for renal hemodialysis. We will talk about now parathyroid gland disorder itself. Few point about hyperparathyroidism and few point about hypothyroidism. Hypoparathyroidism. Now parathyroid gland disorders, here you find 4 parathyroid glands. They are situated posterior to thyroid glands. They produces parathyroid hormone, PTH. The secretion of PTH is regulated by ionized calcium level in the body. When calcium levels becomes low, more parathyroid hormone is secreted. When calcium levels are normal or little above, there is a decreased stimulation of parathyroid hormone from the pituitary, but from the parathyroid gland. First we will discuss hyperparathyroidism. 3 types of hyperparathyroidism is noted. One is primary hyperparathyroidism. Here there is a single adenoma, more than 80% cases, sometimes malignancy of parathyroid gland, or there is a hyperplasia of 2 or more glands. Here mechanism is due to autonomous hypersecretion of parathyroid hormone. Second type is secondary hyperparathyroidism. This is seen in chronic renal failure, malabsorption, osteomalacia and rickets. This occurs because of vitamin D deficiency. Now here, hypersecretion of parathyroid hormone is due to stimulation by hypocalcemia. Third condition is called tertiary hyperparathyroidism. It's rare. Once there is a secondary hyperparathyroidism occurs and it continues, it becomes autonomous parathyroid secretions, then we call it tertiary hyperparathyroidism. Now clinical features of hyperparathyroidism. Majority of patients are asymptomatic, but symptoms are generally due to hypercalcemia, which I just discussed. As the serum calcium level goes up, there are so many, all systems have a lot of symptoms. And also you find bone resorption. Bone become thinner causing pathological fractures. And there is a generalized cystic bone lesions called osteitis fibrosa cystica. Investigations in a primary hyperparathyroidism, of course, there is increased parathyroid hormone level, increase in calcium level, phosphate is low, serum alkaline phosphatase is this alkaline phosphatase is raised if there is a bone disease or pathological fracture. In secondary hyperparathyroidism, serum calcium is low, hypocalcemia is there, parathyroid hormone levels are increased, phosphates are high level. Bone X-ray shows demineralization, subperiosteal erosions, resorptions of terminal phalanges, and loss of lamina dura of teeth. Take X-ray of skull X-ray may reveal pepper pot appearance. Scanning of neck, ultrasound of neck will detect parathyroid gland hyperplasia or tumors. Management here, there is a tumors are there, then best thing is to do surgery. There is parathyroidectomy is recommended. And for controlling hypercalcemia, just now I outlined the treatment of hypercalcemia, various means like giving severe hypercalcemia, IV saline, furosemide, biphosphonate, etc. etc. Last topic we'll discuss, I don't have a slide there, is hypoparathyroidism. Hypoparathyroidism, here it characterized by low levels of calcium, that is hypocalcemia, either due to decreased production of parathyroid hormone or its unresponsiveness. Important cause of hypoparathyroidism here is post-thyroidectomy, after thyroid surgery or after parathyroid surgery, hemochromatosis, hereditary, the example is D. George syndrome, where there is a facial anomalies and cardiovascular anomalies. Last is autoimmunity. Clinical features, they are because of hypocalcemia. All hypocalcemia clinical features like tetany, all you can see. Tetany, psychosis, epilepsy, cataract, basal ganglia calcification, raised intracranial tension, you can see by fundoscope finding papilledema, all this can be seen. Now, investigation of hypoparathyroidism, here serum calcium is low, serum phosphate is high, alkaline phosphatase is normal, parathyroid hormones levels are low. That's why we call it hypoparathyroidism. Treatment agency in hypocalcemia, And for chronic hypocalcemia, supplementation of vitamin D and calcium orally for long periods. So, today I have discussed calcium metabolism, how the calcium levels are maintained tightly between 9 to 10.5 milligram normal range by various two important factors, vitamin D and parathyroid hormone, and features of hypocalcemia, hypercalcemia, their causes, and parathyroid gland disorders. With this, I will end the topic today's.